Kunja Vihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Jaya Radha Shama Sundara, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Vrindavana Dham. Jaya Gaurani Jai, Jaya Gaurani Jai, Jaya Gaurani Jai, Jaya Gaurani Jai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev Maharaj ki jai. Thank you very much for all the committee members for giving me this opportunity. So let me take the blessings of Guru Maharaj and all the Vaishnavas sitting here. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatariणे Mukam Karoti Vachalam Panghum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Nittarina. Hare Krishna. We are going to have Radhashtami celebrations in a few days' time. So I've been asked to speak few words glorifying Srimati Radharani. And it is a very difficult subject because it is very difficult to understand Radharani, first of all. Only if you understand, you can glorify. So glorification is also far off thing, but I pray to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Shyam Sundar, Shri Shri Radha Bhairenishwar, Krishna Balaram, Gauri Nitai, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, Srila Prabhupada, and the entire Gurudeva and the entire Guru Parampara and all the Vaishnavas to shower their mercy and blessings upon me to speak few words, appropriate words, glorification of Srimati Radharani. So I would like to start with the famous, all of you know, the two prayers to Srimati Radharani and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate. So Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari, glorifying, it's a prayer to Srimati Radharani, where Radharani is described as having a molten golden complexion, and she is the daughter of Vrishabhanu. Vrishabhanu, actually King Vrishabhanu found Radharani. Prabhupada says in one lecture where he found Radharani as a small baby on a lotus flower when he was plowing the land. And there are other versions also where Vrishabhanu was offering his prayers in Yamuna river, and then there came this 1,000-petaled lotus flower on which this beautiful golden baby girl was lying there. So in this way, Radharani appeared on planet Earth. So therefore, planet Earth is supposed to be the most fortunate place in the material world, because she did not go to other planets. Nor Lord Krishna did not go to other planets, but they made their appearance on planet Earth. Then she is Vrindavaneshwari. She is the queen of Vrindavana. And she is also, most important, she is Hari Priya, most beloved to Sri Hari. So we are offering prayers to that exalted personality, Mother Radharani. Then going to Krishna's prayer, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu, he is the ocean of mercy. Deenabandhu, she is the friend of the distressed. Then he is Gopesha, he is the master of the gopis, he is the beloved of the gopikas, but among the gopikas, he is the most beloved of Radharani. So she is called Radha Kanta. There she is Hari Priya and he is Radha Kanta. So offering of my obeisances to both, we will continue. So as I said, the relationship between Radharani and Krishna is very sublime. It is very profound, very difficult for anybody to understand that relationship. And that is why even Prabhupada did not talk much about Radharani, actually, if you see, because there is every chance of misunderstanding Radharani to be a material living entity. And the interactions between, the relationship between Krishna and Radha, we might assume that it is ordinary material interactions. So that is the reason that we generally avoid, Prabhupada avoided speaking about Radharani. So Actually, I was hearing, see, if Krishna expanded finally to Mahavishnu, and Mahavishnu glanced upon his material energy. Just he glanced upon the material energy, and this entire material creation manifested. Krishna, when he glances Radharani, we don't know what happens. So we cannot understand that relationship. So it's better not to speak and not to mentally speculate that relationship. So it is way beyond our material senses to understand. So we should know, before we go to who is Radharani, we should know something about Krishna's energy. Krishna has innumerable energy. Parasya Shakti Vividhaiva Shruyate. So there are so many Vividha, variety, many innumerable, unlimited Shaktis. Lord Vishnu, Sri Krishna has. And broadly, we can classify into internal energy, external energy, marginal energy. We already know that. Marginal or tatastha energy are we, the living entities, because we have the free will. Either we can become completely spiritual or we can become completely conditioned. It just depends upon our. So we are on a fence. We can either fall into the spiritual world or we can fall into the material world according to our desires. Coming to the external energy, we know she is Mahamaya, Bahiranga Shakti, who is in charge of creating this material world. And the internal energy is what we are going to speak of today. Internal potency of the Lord, or Antaranga Shakti. So Antaranga Shakti is broadly classified into three again: Sandhini Shakti, Samvid, and Ahladini Shakti. Sandhini Shakti is that potency of the Lord when he wants to create, that potency becomes manifest more. So maintenance of all the living entities. And then Balarama is the predominating deity of Sandhini Shakti, like all the Vaikuntha planets, all the planetary systems in the material world, and even the manifestation of the servants of the Lord, associates of the Lord, parents of the Lord, every, and the bed he sleeps on, everything that is manifested is under the control of the Sandhini Shakti, the Sandhini potency of the Lord. Then the Samvid is the one, if knowledge about the Lord and knowledge about everything. So every living entity obtains, that is the Samvid, the potency of the Lord, is responsible for giving knowledge to everyone. And the highest knowledge is Krishna, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then we have the pleasure potency. Now, if you see, the Lord is Satchit Ananda. We know that. So these are the energies. That energy is Sandhini. Then the maintenance, eternally present. So eternal existence by the Sandhini energy. And then the Samvit energy is for the Chit, that is knowledge. And Ahladini energy is, or the potency is for Ananda. Ananda is bliss, not Santosha or Shanti. It is Ananda. Ananda is bliss. So the Lord, internal, the potency of pleasure is Ahladini Shakti, and who is none other than our Srimati Radharani. So this is, so we should know. So Radharani. So it happens like one day. See, Lord Krishna is Atma Rama. He is self-sufficient. He is Abhigna, Swarat, all those we have read in the first verse of Bhagavatam. So he is the source of everything that is created. So he doesn't have to depend upon anybody to enjoy. So he is self-satisfied, but even he has that enjoying potency. He also wants to share his enjoyment, his pleasure with someone. So one day in Rasamandala, that is in the spiritual world, in Goloka, when he was sitting there, he suddenly desired to enjoy. So when he desired, from his left side manifested the Hladini Shakti, was none other than Srimati Radharani. So see, if you want to give, so Radharani and Krishna, the whole idea is they enjoy with each other. Now, enjoy, when you have to give enjoyment to someone else, means you love that person. If you don't like any person, you will not feel like enjoying with him or give any pleasure to that person. So here it is. So that is why Radharani is the embodiment of love for the Supreme Lord. And the Lord wants to enjoy in full. He wants to have the pleasure in full. So it should be the highest level of love. So highest form of love is represented by Radharani. That is why love is an emotion. And the highest form of light is Bhava and Mahabhava. So Radharani is called Mahabhava Swarupini. She is the embodiment of the highest form of love of Lord Shri Krishna. And in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. And so, since she emerges from Krishna's own body, she is non-different from Krishna. We cannot separate her from Krishna. Love is an innate nature of every living entity. Love is for Krishna, he is full of love at all times. Even when he is killing someone, he is not angry, if you see. Smilingly only he gives instructions. Smilingly only he will annihilate also anybody. So he is never angry. He is always full of love. So love is, so Radharani is his innate nature, actually, that embodiment of love. That love is his innate nature. So we cannot separate Radharani from Lord Shri Krishna. And actually, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said, Radha Krishna Eka Atma. They are one soul. Dui Dehadhari, but they assume two forms, two bodies, but they are one soul. So they are one. They are non-different from each other. Only when the Lord wanted to enjoy, the highest form of enjoyment can be given only by himself. And that is why that came manifested as Srimati Radharani. And what is the purpose of Radharani and Krishna? Anyonye vilase rasa aswadana. They just enjoy each other's company in various mellows of love. There is not only love, but there is anger, there is tears, there is dejection, everything is there. But that is full of love. That is always imbued with love. There is no anger or envy there. So then in Chaitanya Charitamrita, another verse is there. So actually for this, Prabhupada says, one enjoy into, in the in the purport when you read, Prabhupada is telling one enjoy into. So one soul, but they are enjoying into. So again in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Govinda Nandini, Radha is called Govinda Nandini Radha. Govinda means one who gives pleasure to our senses. Lord Shri Krishna gives pleasure to our senses. But there is someone else who is giving pleasure to his senses. That is our Srimati Radharani. So Govinda Nandini Radha. Govinda Mohini. Krishna means all attractive. So he is attractive to everyone. Everybody gets attracted to Krishna. But even the Cupids, Kamadeva, even he is the one who infuses attraction in the hearts of every living entity, but he himself gets attracted to Krishna. Therefore, Krishna is called Madana Mohana. So Kamadeva is Madana. So therefore he is called Madana Mohana. But Krishna is attracted to someone else. So who is attracting him? He feels that Krishna is the most attractive personality. But Krishna, there is somebody else who is more attractive than him. So he is attracted to that personality. And that is Srimati Radharani. Therefore, she is called Govinda Mohini or Madana Mohana Mohini. So Madana Mohana, one who attracted Madana. And Madana Mohana Mohini, one who attracted that Madana Mohana. Then Govinda Sarvasva. She is all be and end all for Govinda. For Krishna, it is only Radharani. At all times, it is Radharani. He cannot stay away from Radharani. If he stays away from Radharani, means he is keeping his love away from himself. It cannot happen. So, because of love, everything is existing. Because of love, everything is manifesting. It is love of Godhead. So Radharani is called Govinda Sarvasva. She is everything to Krishna. Then Radharani is called Sarvakanta Shiromani. Now Krishna expands into so many transcendental forms. We saw how Krishna expands into Balarama to Sankarshana, Vasudeva, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and then to Narayana, then Mahavishnu forms. So we see how so many forms he expands. In fact, Gopas are also his expansions. So Radharani, correspondingly, she expands to his concerts because Krishna is never ever without his concert. Radharani is his eternal consort. So when Krishna expands, she needs somebody, in place. So his expansions also need. So Radharani also expands. So she expands into gopis. She expands into the queens in Dwaraka. She expands into so many Lakshmis in the Vaikuntha planets. But the Lakshmis in the Vaikuntha planet, they are different from Radharani. Like they are four-armed and they are in Aishwarya Bhava, fully in Aishwarya Bhava. Then we go to Dwaraka. In Dwaraka, the queens are in Aishwarya, tinged Madhurya Bhava. So it is not pure Madhurya. But when it comes to Goloka, it is only Madhurya Bhava, the gopis, and the topmost gopi is Srimati Radharani. So she is the natural energy of the Lord, actually. So we cannot separate her from him. And like the heat from fire. So the natural quality of fire is heat. We cannot, if there is no heat, then it is not called fire. So the natural quality of fire is heat. So heat is the energy, fire is the energetic. Similarly, Krishna is energetic and Radharani is energy. So just like we cannot separate heat from fire, similarly, we cannot separate Radharani from Lord Shri Krishna. So Radharani gives all transcendental pleasures to Krishna. For Krishna, she is the only source of pleasure. Because Radharani, he takes all pleasures, all enjoyments only from Radharani. Because, once Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj was asked, what are the qualities that Krishna really likes in his devotees? So Guru Maharaj says that there are two important qualities that Krishna specifically loves. That is non-enviousness, and the other one is eagerness to serve Krishna. And these two are there in Radharani. So whoever approaches Radharani, see, Krishna is Radharani's property. Though, see, we say Krishna is independent, Swarat. Nobody is equal to him or greater than him. But then he is under control of Radharani. He is the property of Radharani. As Radharani says, he will do. So Radharani is, so it's not very easy. If something is our property, it's not very easy that we are going to lend it to others. But Radharani is not like that. If somebody approaches Radharani with a mood to serve Krishna, she will gladly give that position, leave her position and lend it to that devotee. So this is she's so non-envious. And then she is very, very eager. The moment she emerged from Krishna's body for the first time, the moment she saw Krishna, she wanted to serve him. She wanted to make him happy. She wanted to give him something. So she runs. She sees some flowers there. She runs to pick the flowers and offer it to the Supreme Lord. Therefore, she is called Radha. Ra is from Rasamandala. The Ra from Rasamandala. Dhavamana is running. So the first letter of that Dha. So that's why she is called Radha. So, as we saw so many points about Radharani, we should understand, see, Krishna is completely spiritual. So if he wants to enjoy, he will not choose a material living entity who is conditioned to enjoy with. So therefore, Radharani is not a material conditioned soul. She is completely spiritual. So we should understand that even when she appears on this earth, she is completely spiritual. She is the eternal consort of Lord Shri Krishna. So how do we approach Radharani is one thing now. So now actually Radharani is in fact equal terms with Krishna. Krishna says, yeah, everything, whatever you do, you offer to me, patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam, everything you offer to me with bhakti, I will accept. But the real fact is, Krishna is so pure, so uncontaminated, for us to approach him directly is not possible. And we saw that Krishna accepts all offerings only through Radharani. In fact, Radharani is the reservoir of all devotional services. She is the reservoir. By her mercy, we obtain the bhakti. In fact, if she is not happy with us, we will not get the chance to serve the Supreme Lord. So she accepts everything through Radha. He accepts everything through Radharani. So where is the question of approaching him directly? We cannot approach him directly. So we have to approach him through Radharani only. So what is the need to please Krishna so much? Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We know that. Then we know that, we should know that our business is only to serve him. We are his eternal part and or fragmented part and parcel of Lord Shri Krishna. He is our master. We are his servant. And master and servant, there should be some service by the servant. So our business is only serving him. Even in Bhagavatam, so we are here as conditioned soul, and we are doing so many material activities. That means, does that mean our material activities should be directed away from Krishna because he is spiritual? No, it is not like that. Because in Bhagavatam, it is very clearly written, Atha Pumbihi Dvijashreshtha Varnashrama Vibhagashah Svanushthistasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. So, okay, you all be situated in your respective varnas and ashramas. Fine. Do your duty. You have to do some occupational duties. We have to take care of our body, our senses, everything. Maybe there is a tinge of, there are many material desires also. But ultimately, the goal of life is Lord Shri Krishna. The goal of life is to satisfy Krishna. So, what is said in Bhagavatam is, you do your occupational duties, but do it for the satisfaction of Lord Shri Krishna. So every material activity we do, it has to be yajnarthat karmanonyatra. It is, in fact, as a sacrifice, as for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. When we do it for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, it automatically becomes a yajna. It is termed, we don't have to sit and do great austerities. Every activity that we perform, we offer it to Krishna, it becomes a yajna. So this is for samsiddhir haritoshnam. So our goal of every activity, material activity we do, is to see that he is satisfied. He is pleased with us. So he has to be satisfied, whether we are liberated or whether we are conditioned. Ultimately, the ultimate master to be satisfied is Lord Shri Krishna. That is what the Bhagavatam says. Swartha gatim, what is our self-interest, is Vishnu. Vishnu Tattva again comes from Lord Krishna only. Whether we are satisfying Vishnu or satisfying Krishna, we are going to satisfy Lord Hari, Vishnu, Krishna. Even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15.15, he says, Vedaisha sarvair ahameva vedyaha. Okay, you read all the Vedas, master all the Vedas, but ultimately understand that I should be known. I should be known by all the Vedic scriptures, he says. So ultimately, I am the object of all the Vedic scriptures. So we have to satisfy Krishna. But we saw it is so difficult to satisfy Krishna. So then we have to satisfy Radharani, because he says, only Radharani I will be satisfied by with Radharani. So we have to please Radharani. But are we qualified to please Radharani? Because Radharani and Krishna are on the same level. When we are not qualified to please Krishna directly, we are not either qualified to please Radharani also directly. So actually, in Prabodhananda Saraswati, a contemporary of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he says, Yatha Yatha Gaura Padara Vindeta Bhaktim Krita Punya Rashi Tatha Tatot Sarpati Hridya Akasmad Radha Padam Bhoja Sudambhu Rashi. So what Prabodhananda Saraswati is telling is, to the as and when we get attached to the lotus feet of Gaurahari, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Yatha Yatha Gaura Padara Vinde. our heart will start indentating. What is this? Hridya akasmat. Immediately our heart will be filled with bhakti. It will overflow with bhakti. As we become more and more attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, our heart will be filled. Actually, it will be overflow. Bhakti will be overflowing in our heart. But where does this bhakti come from? It springs from the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So this is how. So if we please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will be pleasing Radharani. So this is. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you saw that one incident where he got angry with Chota Haridas. Chota Haridas did not commit any sinful act. It was a fleeting thought that went in his. It just came and just went out. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept him for that. Then what about us? We are filled with material desires. Will Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accept us? It was very difficult. We have to be anyabhilashita shunya. We should not have any other desire other than pleasing Supreme Lord, other than serving Lord Shri Krishna. So we are not qualified. Then how can we please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so that Radharani is pleased, so that Lord Krishna is pleased? How? So then we have to please Nityananda Mahaprabhu. Nityananda Mahaprabhu is very merciful. What? Even if we saw how he dealt with Jagai Madhai. We are filled with garbage also. We just approach Nityananda Mahaprabhu and say we want to serve. He will definitely accept us. But still we are not qualified to approach also Nityananda Mahaprabhu. So who can we please now? How do we please? Then follow the instructions of Prabhupada. So please Prabhupada, that is enough. If Prabhupada is pleased, Nityananda Mahaprabhu is Guru Tattva, he will be pleased. If he is pleased, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will recommend to our Radharani. Radharani will recommend us to Lord Shri Krishna. So sometimes we might say, Prabhupada is not here alive. How will I know that he is pleased? Then please your Guru. Follow the instructions of Guru and please him. So with the same utsaha, and we should serve our Guru with the same utsaha, with such eagerness and nirmatsara. Guru will be pleased. Then if Guru is pleased, then it goes in the parampara up to Radharani, and then Krishna will be pleased. So this is how. So we have to approach Guru. We have to actually Radharani. We have to beg from her. Akincha gochara. We don't have anything, no assets at all with us. Extremely fallen, useless people we are. We are just so fallen, but please, that is why we want your mercy. Without your mercy, we cannot please Lord Vishnu. So then that is how we have to approach Radharani. So when we approach our Guru Maharaj also, when we are serving our Guru, Prabhupada, it has to be like Trinadapi Sunichena Taroriva Sahishnuna Manina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadaharihi. So Trinadapi Sunichena, we have to be Nicha, Sunicha, not even Nicha, it is Sunicha, more humbler than the blade of grass. So if we step on the grass is pushed downwards. The moment we lift our leg, the grass again rises. So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says is, we have to be more humbler than the blade of the grass. We should never lift our head when we approach Guru. We should always be submissive. Our head has to be down always. Taroriva Sahishnuna, you be as tolerant as the tree. So we know how the tree is. With so many onslaughts from material nature, from us, from animals, and we also pluck flowers, pluck fruits, and we cut, and ants are biting, and then there are the monkeys jumping on the tree, and then there would be heavy rains or scorching sun or terrible winter, snow, but the tree remains there. It does not even protest. Similarly, whatever comes in our way, we should be very tolerant when we are serving our Guru and Lord Shri Krishna. So, and then amanina manadena, don't expect respect from others, but on the other hand, we have to give respect, due respects to everyone. So there's a beautiful verse by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Kirtaniya Sada Harihi. So in this way, we should follow the instructions of Guru Srila Prabhupada. The Guru Parampara is automatically pleased and Krishna is pleased. Radharani is the reservoir of all bhakti. So when we are doing bhakti, it will be taken to Radharani by the Guru Parampara. And then she will say, this devotee is here. Patram Pushpam, Prabhupada says, this devotee wants to offer a fruit to you, Krishna. He is better than me, Prabhupada says there. When she is recommending to Krishna, she will tell, Krishna, he is better. He is a better devotee than me. Please accept. Then Krishna will accept us. So that is how we have to approach. And we saw in our Guru Ashtaka, we sing every day, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasado, Yasya Prasadat Na Gati Kutopi. So when we get the mercy of Guru, then we have got the mercy of Bhagavan, Lord Shri Krishna. If we don't get the mercy of, if we don't please our Guru, Yasya Prasadan, then there is no way for us. We are just thrown here without any without any hope. Nagatihi. There is no success. It's only failures in our life. Our life is not successful without the mercy of Guru and the Guru Parampara and Radharani. So this is how we have to. So we learned who is Radharani. She is the eternal consort of Sri Krishna. She is the internal potency. She is inseparable from Krishna. And she is the all-merciful Jaganmata. She is the pleasure potency. Krishna derives his pleasure only from Radharani. Radharani is pleased, Krishna is pleased. And Krishna recommends all the devotees who want to serve Krishna with single mind. Radharani will recommend those devotees to Sri Krishna. So this is how. And then we saw how to approach Radharani. We have to approach through our Guru and Srila Prabhupada. So this is. So we have some more time to go. So I would just want to narrate some few pastimes. See, we cannot, why we are told not to approach Radharani or speak about Radharani, because we cannot understand her. We can understand Lord Shri Krishna, but Radharani we cannot understand, because of our material anarthas and sense, we tend to wrongly judge Radharani and her activities. So it is very difficult. We can never understand her. There is one pastime, beautiful pastime in Padma Purana. Arjuna, Arjuna is a very close friend of Lord Shri Krishna. He also became the charioteer of Lord Shri Krishna. Becoming a charioteer is not a very loving, beautiful, easy task. It is the most menial job to become a charioteer. And in the middle of a battle, you cannot hear anything. The warriors, when they are instructing the charioteer to take the chariot here, there, the charioteer cannot hear, because there will be elephants roaring, the horses neighing, and there will be so much of noise produced by various weapons. The charioteers, you cannot speak, you cannot verbally communicate with anybody there, because you cannot hear in that din. So how the warrior will direct the charioteer is by kicking. So on Krishna, Arjuna used to kick on the right side, Krishna had to take the chariot to the right. If Arjuna kicks on the left shoulder, Krishna had to take the chariot to the left. So, or kick on his back straight, he has to take the chariot. So that was the position that Lord Shri Krishna took. He gets conquered by his devotees. He doesn't mind to serve them whatever extent to make his devotees happy. He's so indebted to his devotees. Sri Radharani. Krishna. So that is the position that Krishna actually gives for his devotees. So not only that task, Krishna used to take care of the horses. He used to tell Arjuna, you focus on the battle. The horses are tired. Krishna used to brush those horses, give water to the horses. This was the work that Krishna did on the battlefield for Arjuna. And so Arjuna is so close to Krishna. And then one day, Arjuna asks Krishna, Krishna, I want to understand the love of the gopis. I want to understand Vrindavana. I want to understand Brajavasis. I want to understand love of Radharani. What Krishna would have told him? Krishna told him, impossible. You will never understand. You will never understand the love of gopis. You will never understand love of Brajavasis. You will never understand the love of Radharani. You have to experience it. Only then you will understand. Just by hearing, you will never understand, he says. Then when Arjuna is the closest friend, you know how close he was? Krishna used to often leave Dwaraka. He used to leave his wives and he used to go and sit in Hastinapura. He used to tell his queens, I'll come back in a few days, maybe 1 or 2 days I'll come off. But then he stays there for 3-4 months, 6 months, like that he used to stay in Hastinapur. And these queens were so fed up. What is this? What big work he has there? When Narada Muni visits Dwaraka, and they all complain to Narada Muni, see this Krishna, he goes and sits there. What big work he has, we really don't know. You do one thing, Narada, go to Hastinapur and find out what he and that Arjuna are doing there. Why he leaves us and goes there every time. So Narada goes to Hastinapura. And there in Hastinapura, he goes to Arjuna's room. But the Dwarapalaka stops him there. He says, no, you cannot enter, Narada Muni, because some important meeting is going on. And Krishna has told that he should not be disturbed until he comes out. So Narada Muni says, okay, I will wait. And then he's just wandering here and there. Half an hour passed, 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed, 3 hours passed. He comes and sees still the door is closed. The meeting is still going on. Then again he approaches the Dwarapalaka. Can I go inside? He says, no, strict instruction from Krishna and Arjuna, nobody to be allowed. Then again, third time he approaches and then he tells him, okay, Krishna has not stopped anybody to peep through the keyhole. Na? Can I do that at least? And then Dwarapalaka says, okay, you can see through the keyhole. So Narada Muni sees and is so astonished. He's so amazed. What is happening there? Can you imagine what's happening? Both of them are sleeping there to glory and they are snoring to glory. That was not amazing. What was amazing for Narada Muni was the way they were sleeping. Krishna was lying on one side and Arjuna was on the other side. Arjuna's legs were on Krishna's chest. So that was what this master of the universe, this Jagatpati, he is there with Arjuna's legs on his chest. So that was what's so astonishing for Narada. So this was the position of Arjuna when it came to Krishna. And that Arjuna, Krishna tells, no, you cannot understand. I will not tell you anything. Then what about us? Are we in a position to understand Radharani? Not at all. Anyway, because Arjuna asked, Krishna is always magnanimous to his devotees. He arranges. He tells you, go and meet Parvati Devi and tell her that I have sent you so that you can have access to the gopis. And Parvati Devi asks him to do some austerities for a while and then hands him over to the gopi there in Vrindavan. One gopi comes and takes him and asks him to take a dip in Amrita Sarovara. So he bathes there, and when he comes out, he is no longer Arjuna, he is Arjuni. So he has become a gopi. And then Arjuni is taken by all the other gopis to Radharani, and Radharani lovingly takes him, asks actually, all of them will ask him, who are you? He says, he would have forgotten. She who has forgotten that she is Arjuna. Says, I don't know why I'm here. How did I come here? I have no idea at all. I don't remember anything. So then she is taken to Krishna, and then for a few days he stays there as Arjuni, enjoying the beautiful pastimes of Radharani and Krishna. Then after some time, Radharani tells him, take a dip in the same Sarovar, and he comes out as Arjuna. Now he remembers what happens. So he understands. Then we see same thing happens to Shiva also, how Lord Shiva becomes Gopeshwara. Not good. Narada Muni also. So they all had to become gopis to experience the love of the gopis and love of Radharani and the pastimes of Krishna and Radha. And Uddhava was sent by Krishna, go to Vrindavana, take my message, and you will learn so many things from them. Then when he goes there, he meets the gopis, he meets the parents of Krishna and Gopas, everyone. And he is so overwhelmed by their love. But when he meets Radharani, he understands that he does not have even a small drop of that affection that Radharani has for Krishna. He feels he has nothing, no affection at all for Krishna, seeing the amazing love that Radharani had for Lord Shri Krishna. So, and then another beautiful pastime is how Krishna is hankering for Radharani's association. How Krishna is so attached to Radharani. There is this story once. Krishna is in his home and Radharani is in her home. Her husband, my in-laws, Jatila, Kutila, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, and sister-in-law. Krishna is there in Nanda Gopal's house, and he is so much suffering from separation from Radharani, deep separation from Radharani, and wants to meet her somehow or the other. So he builds up a big story only. He tells, oh my God, a snake bit me and now see, I have fever, what to do? I'm going to die. And too much of drama he does. And my mother Yashoda is so worried. Then she consults Purnamasi. Purnamasi understands, okay, this is a big drama. He wants to meet Radharani. Okay, let me arrange. Then Purnamasi says, you know what? Yeah, this is an emergency actually. This guy is going to die if he's not treated immediately. But the treatment for that is you have to bring water in a pot, but the pot should have 100 holes. In that pot, you have to bring water. And Yashoda, first when she says pot, okay, I'll go and get someone. She says, no, only the chaste person should bring water. Only the most chaste lady has to bring water from Yamuna in this pot. And who is chaste? Jatila and Kutila are known to be the most chaste ladies there. So then Yashoda approaches Jatila and Kutila. Please help my son. He is having fever. He's going to die if you don't help. So Jatila says, no problem. I will get water from Yamuna. So she goes and she collects water in the pot. But even before she comes out, there is no water in the pot. All the water is drained out through the holes. Kutila comes to know about this, her daughter, Jatila's daughter, or Radharani's sister-in-law. She comes to know about that. She runs away. Baba, then it will be a big shame only for me. I don't want to stay here. Now, who is there? Then Purnamasi will tell, Radharani is there, no? Radharani? How is she chaste? She runs to that black fellow every now and then. She cannot be chaste. No, you call Radharani. And Radharani comes and then... Purnamasi tells, you have to carry water there. Radharani says humbly, no, I'm not. See, everyone tells me I'm not chaste at all. Then Purnamasi tells, no, see, if you're not coming now, Krishna is going to die. Then you will also die if he dies. Come fast. So she goes and takes water from Yamuna, and then she goes from Yamuna to Nanda Bhavan. But all the way, not even a single drop of water leaks from the pot, spills from the pot. So she's the most chaste lady, chastity to Krishna, that is. So all of us should be chaste to our Guru, chaste to Prabhupada, chaste to ISKCON, chaste to Guru Parampara, chaste to Radharani. So that is the chastity that Radharani had. And another one, how Krishna melts before Radharani. Krishna actually, in one of the Rasa Leelas, Krishna disappears, we know that. And all the gopis are searching for Krishna, here, there, everywhere. And Krishna appears in front of the gopis, four-armed, Narayana. They will tell Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They will just go down and they will go, where is Krishna, Krishna, Krishna? They don't even acknowledge Narayana as Krishna. But they will just say Namaste, Namaskar. They will go down to Narayana, then they will go on their way, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So Krishna is having a good time there. He is laughing. He is having a good time. But until Radharani comes, when Radharani comes before him, he loses the power to keep the extra two arms. It just melts off. He is not able to hold the other two arms. So that was how the power of Radharani on Krishna. So love of Krishna for Radharani. So I will just end here. And so we have to be very sincere to Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Actually, we are very close. We are a daily chant Radha's name in the form of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nothing but we are begging Radharani's mercy to get Krishna's mercy. So that is what we are doing every day. Hare means Radharani. Krishna, Hare, Radharani, Rama. Can be Rama or Balarama. None other than Krishna also. So we are always connected. So that is why Kirtaniya Sada Harihi will connect us to Radharani. So this is it. And so we'll end up singing Radha Bhajman. Radha. Bhaj man Radhe Govinda, Bhaj man Radhe Govinda, Man Radhe 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 Govinda. Shri Radharani ki jai, Shyam Sundar Bhagavan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. It was a very nice, wonderful rendering. Haribol.